Welcome back. Remember, I couldn't put the full 32-minute video on YouTube. I meant on LinkedIn. So if you want to see the full video in its entirety, go over to YouTube. If not, then go to LinkedIn and just search for Journey to the Job, Part 1, Section 1. And you'll see the front part, but I'm literally just picking up where we left off. So coming back up here to prospecting, I'm doing this one last because prospecting is a complex thing and I need to show you what I mean by that. So this page over here, this is my prospecting page. So this prospecting page shows you how I'm gonna go about prospecting. And to be honest, this is the meat and potatoes of it all. If you're not prospecting, then you don't have leads. If you don't have leads, then there's no way possible to get to a deal. So if getting the job or getting the interview is getting to a deal, then prospecting is the task that I'll spend probably 75% of my time doing. I am overlapping prospecting and outreach together just simply because, I mean, in my last role, I had to prospect, I had to make my outreach. It's a consistent process. So prospecting, here we go. One way that I'll prospect is going to job boards. So these are 11 job boards that I came up with. LinkedIn, Indeed, Sales Head, The Ladders, Glassdoor, Sales Tracks, Career Builder, Dice, Google Jobs, ZipRecruiter. And then this is a special one that I'm in, which is the Pre-Sales Collective. It's a Slack channel, and there's always jobs listed there. So how do I go about applying to all of these places and all of the jobs that'll be on these places for 10 weeks? I could set it up where I'll do one per week. I'll pick one site and do per week, but I feel as though it's some pros and some cons to that. It's very time efficient, but it could potentially lead to me not seeing certain opportunities that could be advantageous for me. I haven't made the decision here yet, which is why I went over here, which says that I'll reevaluate based on user experience, ease of use, and response or scheduled interviews. So the way I'm gonna go about it first is I'm gonna start with the granddaddy of them all, just the big dog, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where we all are. LinkedIn is where I'm gonna post this video. LinkedIn is where we make business connections. I'm gonna go to LinkedIn. I will go to LinkedIn and do what I have here. And this is the math of it all, which I'll explain. But I'm going to utilize LinkedIn. LinkedIn makes it easy for me to utilize it on my phone. LinkedIn's user experience is it's sleek, it's to the point. If you have any computer know-how, then you can kind of figure out how to use LinkedIn. And then the thing that'll make or break if I consistently use LinkedIn is this part, which is response or scheduled interviews. Now, if I use LinkedIn consistently for a week and I don't get much response and I don't get many scheduled interviews, and response would be emails from those who are hosting the job or the business. Response would be those reaching back out to me who are recruiters. Response would be those sort of things. Now, LinkedIn will be integral in the whole experience, but LinkedIn is going to go first. And if I don't get the response that is at least 10%, then I'm going to move on and make my way down the list. Other methods that I'll use is headhunters. I'm learning about headhunters now. They're basically independent contractors who have recruiting roles. So I'm going to reach out to some headhunters. My goal now is to reach out to 3 per day. Recruiters and employees of a company. So recruiters are what the name is, which are recruiters. Employees of the company are hiring managers, those who work in HR, those who are currently sales engineers, senior sales engineers, anyone who could potentially get me either a referral or I can build a relationship with. I'm going to reach out to at least 3 of them daily. You see this little scribble because at first I tried to evaluate it at 2 per day. But 2 per day didn't get me to where I wanted to go. So 3 per day is what I'm going to do. And then direct job postings, which would be me going directly to the website of the top brands that I would love to work at and fill out their application on their website. So for instance, like companies like, AWS, Cisco, Microsoft Azure, Google, like the big names. I would love to work for some of those, Lockheed Martin. I would love to. Raytheon. But again, my scope of work is reaching out to them, putting in the effort. I cannot count on them making the decision to hire me. I hope that they do. I think that I'm valuable. I know that I would be an asset for a team, but if I'm not, then I won't allow it to shake my self-confidence. So now I'm going to scroll in a little bit just to show you guys what the math breakdown would look like. And I actually thought about calling this the 1100 project, and I'll explain. So right here for the job boards, I'm going to do 8 per day. I'm going to do 8 per day at 6 days a week, which brings me out to 48 weekly for the job boards. 48 weekly after 10 weeks will bring me down to 480. And then I'm going to do an extra 20 for extra credit. I like round numbers. If someone asked me if I wanted $480 or $500, I would take the 500 every day. So I'm going to, push myself to produce 500. Here for the headhunters, I plan to reach out to 3 per day at 6 days per week, which will be 18 weekly, which will bring me out to 180 total once the project is over. I'm going to do 20 extra credit again. Again, this is the round number thing, 180 versus 200. Here for the recruiters and employees of a company, I'm going to build relationships. 3 per day at 6 days per week, which will bring me down to 180 total. I'm going to do my extra credit again. So that'll bring me down to 200. And then direct job postings, I'm going to do 3 per day, 6 days a week, brings me down to 180, brings me down to my extra credit again, which would be 200. So you go 480 plus, or you go to reverse. So let's do 180 times 3, and then we're going to add 480. That'll bring us down to 1,020. My goal is 1,000. 1,020 is what I could produce here. But because of my extra credit, I'm going to do an extra 80, because 2 times 4 or 20 times 4, that's an extra 80. And at that extra 80 is going to bring me down to 1,100, which is why I joked about the 1,100 project. I'm still going to call this Journey to the Job, but for you guys who are insiders, maybe I'll have like a prize or something. I don't know. I don't know where this thing is going to go. But maybe at the end, I'll make reference to 1100 project, and those who know will know, and those who won't, they just won't. It'll just be some fun for all of us. If I get to 10 videos, then please somebody write 1100 project down in the comments, and my word, if you and I ever meet in person, your drink is on me. So that's it. Now, the only things that'll stop all of this is if I actually get the role, a role that pays what I wanted to pay, a role that provides the insurance that I need for my family, a role that provides the flexibility, and a role that I'm just a good fit for and they're a good fit for me. Ultimately, the goal is to get the role. So I'm not going to become tied emotionally to this process. I'm going to work this process, understand why I'm working this process. And if this process no longer suits me, then I won't proceed with it. For any of you guys that can be helped by this process, use it. I'm trying to design it to be more so as a system, because if I'm going through this problem, then I know a lot of other people are too. And as the video series go on, I'll explain what I mean by the problem. And this is basically a solution for all of us who are consistently putting in applications. Like on LinkedIn, I think I've put in like 1,100 applications or something. and I'm just not getting the traction that I want. So I need to do it in a measurable way that will allow for me to get the traction that I want. So here's a couple other extra things, side notes and things that I just need to think about, and things that I'm attempting to display. So as a sales engineer, of course, I have to have certain competency, and that's what brought me to creating this video series. The skills that I plan to use is project management. I plan to display my planning ability, which I've just displayed bits and pieces of it. I plan to display my ability to create strategy, which again, bits and pieces of it. And then my execution skills, that'll be when I consistently come and let you guys know what the results were of my efforts. So sales, this is also a skill that I plan to use, which I'll display my prospecting, my qualifying of a lead to make sure that I'm great for them. And I'll also, I'll qualify them to make sure they're great for me. And I'll make sure that I qualify myself to make sure that I'm great for them. Demonstration of skills, which is, as a sales engineer, your job is to introduce and explain complex ideas, which is what I plan to do throughout this series. And then negotiating. Negotiating is a little out of my scope, to be honest, but negotiating is what I'll need to kind of brush up on and pay attention to as I start to interview and ultimately get those 10 job offers. So creative skills, graphic design. Remember, I told you guys I don't want to pretend to be perfect. So I plan to display my graphic design ability, which I can actually do now. But graphic design, video producing, which is what I'm currently doing. And some of my videos will have graphics and things of that sort. And then creative thinking, which as we walk through this entire process, you'll be able to see my strategy, my thought patterns, and my ability to come up with ideas. Whether any of us deem them as valuable or not, I think the open market will let me know if my ideas are valuable. Presentation skills. So I want to introduce you guys to complex ideas and show my ability to explain and execute on complex ideas in hopes of landing a dream role. As a sales engineer, that is the job. You have a set of complex ideas. You need to discover what your client's issues are and how you can help and assess them in terms of solving those problems, and then deliver the product that you guys offer for their issues. That's the role of a sales engineer. That's what I plan to do throughout this video series. And I really do hope that you guys can get anything out of it. And then number 5 is computer literacy and know-how. You guys will be able to display as I share my screen, my filing, my Microsoft, my Google Suites and things, different things of that sort that I'm able to use Zoom. I'm not sure all of the computer literacy things that I will display along this journey, but these are just the things that I can think of now. And then this is my postscript. If you notice any skills that I'm using, please let me know in the comments. And I would really appreciate if you guys could endorse me on LinkedIn. It would be, payback. And this isn't even an exchange in terms of I need anything in return. I would just appreciate it. And if you think that I've displayed a skill that you deem could be valuable to the open market, endorsing me on LinkedIn would make me smile. And then this last page, this is just a scrap sheet for me. So, when I discussed here, one of my SMART goals is to make it attainable and achievable. Now, it can be interchangeable, but I broke it down into 2 parts. Part number 1 is to educate myself on topics and stay up to date. And then part number 2 is breaking it down into small chunks and prospecting. Now, in terms of part number 1 with education, currently I am in the midst of my second tech boot camp. My education will be finishing that boot camp My education will also be research and develop a better resume, which I'm going to pull over my resumes. And then my education will be also to read job postings, then learn and practice the listed skills. So that part is kind of important because a lot of these job postings, they want certain skills like, do you know how to use this type of technology? Do you know how to use that? Do you have this ability or that ability? So for my direct job postings, I will be reading the entire description. I will notice and mark off what skills I do have so that I can highlight those on my resume or my cover letter directly to that business. And I will also learn skills and develop skills, because ultimately the goal is to get the role. It's a little bit out of scope, but the goal is to get the role. I'm going to show you guys my graphic design ability, but also B, I'm going to show you guys this one. So research and develop a better resume. This is a project manager resume. Initially, when I decided to come to tech, I thought that project management could be great for me. And I learned a lot of good things. It could still be a great role for me. But remember, I told you guys, I've put in 1,100 applications and I haven't been able to achieve my goal. So I need to just make my net wider. And then this is the role that I would love. Like, this is, I think, an ideal role for me, which is a sales engineer role. So I have two different resumes, one for project management roles, and then one here for sales engineer roles. I developed and designed this all on my own, and it kind of gives a glimpse into my graphic design ability. But I have read that this may not be the most flattering format for some of these AI tools. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I plan to consistently do research and figure it out for myself. So this is the brief synopsis of who I am, what I've done, what I plan to do. And I hope that this can bring some value to you guys. And if it does, then perfect. I hope that we can connect and build a relationship. If it doesn't, then thanks for watching. And I hope whatever journey you're going on, that you have nothing but success. Have a great one, you guys.